Good morning, America. Come join us for breakfast.
The party line. It's one of the easiest and most enjoyable ways to meet new people.
The 1950s and 60s were a time of big changes, from rock and roll taking over the airwaves to the rise of TV stars. The baby boomer generation saw the world shift in ways that no one had imagined, with the promise of progress right around every corner. But have you ever wondered what life was really like back then? The way that people communicated, entertained themselves, and what they did for fun? Join us as we have a closer look at 20 things only baby boomers remember. Drive-in movies. Drive-in theaters once reigned as the ultimate movie night for baby boomers. Opening your window and tuning in the signal on your radio, families piled into cars with blankets, snacks, and more, turning parking lots into rows of eager moviegoers. The concept was pioneered in 1933, taking a projector and an outdoor screen to make an accessible experience for everyone. The 50s and 60s saw the drive-in explode in popularity with family-friendly, budget-conscious entertainment. And by the 70s, a surge in gas prices and popularity of VCRs marked the beginning of the decline. Many drive-ins went to more provocative films to draw in the crowds, while others shuttered altogether, their lots overtaken with shopping malls and real estate developments. Today, only a few remain, but for baby boomers, they capture the charm of a casual communal night under the stars. Milk delivery. Milk delivery was a staple of daily life for many baby boomers, offering a convenient way to get fresh milk before refrigeration became common. The milkman delivered milk in bulk, with families using any available container. That soon changed when the glass bottle was patented, leading to individual bottles with caps and logos for each family. That made milk easier to track and deliver, eliminating the need for shared containers. Without a refrigerator, a daily delivery was vital to prevent spoilage. Milkmen used horse-drawn carts, later replaced by the milk truck, and delivered to insulated boxes or cubbies on porches. Penny candy stores. Penny candy stores bring back a world of brightly colored treats and indulgences where a coin or two unlock pure magic. Treasure troves of simple pleasures like fireballs that packed a punch, licorice whips to share with friends, and candy buttons that tested your skills. The candy itself may have not been the best, but it was a great experience. Penny candy stores offered something more, the freedom and thrill of choosing a small treat bought with pocket change. Kids felt like royalty taking their coins as they surveyed the possibilities, each piece of candy with a little joy inside. Woolworth's clever idea to attract customers with low-cost sweets turned into something far beyond marketing. It became a small delight that made life just a little sweeter. Rotary Phones. The rotary phone, with its round dial and a tactile clickety wheel, is a slice of pure retro. It brought families closer, since the 2-meter cord restricted calls to one awkward place in the middle of the room. Every call began with a ritual, finding the number in the phone book and then dialing each digit by rotating the wheel. Each spin of the dial was a commitment in itself, especially for long-distance calls that required an area code. And if you were dialing abroad, it was even more numbers. For emergencies, it was a race against time. It meant that getting to 999 or 911 wasn't exactly swift. And if you hung up in frustration, the satisfying slam of the handset and clang of internal bells offered catharsis that no smartphone could replicate. As for that mysterious white button, nothing happened when you pushed it. Its purpose was usually lost in translation. TV test patterns. Before 24-hour programming and streaming, late-night TV had its own ritual, the sign-off. Around midnight or in the early hours, channels would play a test pattern, a pattern of lines and geometric shapes designed to calibrate the broadcast signal. It became a strange, almost eerie moment where the screen faded from the usual programming into static or the iconic color bars. And for many, the sound of the test patterns hum was a cue that the night's entertainment was over. Channels would often sign off with a national anthem or a message thanking the viewers, marking the ending of the broadcast day. In a world where TV's on at all hours, it's a curious slice of nostalgia, evoking an era when television truly had a closing time. Home economics class. Home economics classes were once a high school staple where students dove into practical skills like sewing, cooking, and household budgeting. They covered everything from whipping up a dinner to patching up your clothing, giving students confidence in handling everyday life. They learned to read recipes, balance a meal, and measure ingredients while baking, a process introduced to both creativity and precision. Sewing lessons included hemming your pants or fixing a button and making simple garments, teaching patience and attention to detail. They practiced financial responsibility, and it offered a hands-on approach to real-life responsibilities that classrooms rarely cover today. These classes have mostly faded out of school, and the skills learned and memories of triumphs and mishaps in the kitchen remain with those who had taken them. Slide projectors. These whirring machines of light and color once held the power to get everyone in the room captivated by a stream of family memories, travel slides, and classroom lessons. In the era before the digital screen, they were the show's star, turning tiny film slides into large and vivid images. A carousel tray clicked one slide after another, putting vacations, birthdays, and loving moments in living rooms worldwide. The charm in the slide projector wasn't only in the images, but also the experience. Dim lights, anticipation, and unmistakable warmth of the projector's bulb. And while digital has largely replaced them, there's a resurgence of appreciation among vintage tech lovers who enjoy the tactile ritual. Today, the projectors are seen more than just nostalgic relics. They're treasured artifacts, capturing the warmth and connection of shared memories in the analog age. Party lines. Party lines were a quirky staple of early telephone communication, allowing people to share a single line. The system, though practical for the time, came with its own social peculiarities. Imagine picking up the receiver only to hear Mrs. Wilson 2 doors down chatting away, or find out that she'd been listening to your calls. Privacy was more often an aspiration than a reality, and neighbors' lives, quirks, and secrets were unintentionally shared. Introduced in the late 1800s, they became popular in rural areas where running private lines was costly. But by the mid-20th century, they were still going strong, with local codes distinguishing a household's ring. Maybe two for you, maybe a long one for your neighbor. Eventually, private lines replaced them, but memories linger of a time when the entire neighborhood might just be listening. Belted car seats. Once a common feature, belted car seats bring back memories from before seatbelts were mandatory. Instead of the standard lap belt or shoulder belt, cars had built-in belts that attached at the back and sides. You'd pull across yourself and latch into place. They were a halfway solution, better than nothing, and often tricky to adjust. They didn't offer much protection during a crash. Despite that, they were embraced for their convenience as car technology advanced and safety standards improved, and the belts faded away, replaced by modern seat belts that we use today. Soda shops. Back in the day, soda shops were the go-to hangout place where friends could catch up over an ice-cold root beer float. These classic treats, made with creamy vanilla ice cream and fizzy root beer, were the perfect accompaniment to hours of conversation. The local soda fountain became a hub of social life. You'd see teenagers in booths sipping on floats and chatting about all the latest school gossip and their weekend plans. Neon lights and a retro jukebox set the scene for memories that were often as sweet as the floats themselves. It wasn't only about the drink, it was about the camaraderie, the vibe, and the sense of belonging to something timeless. Soda shops may have faded from the spotlight, but the root beer float and the spirit of those hangouts remain a cherished memory of a more simple time. Catalog shopping. Catalog shopping was once a vital part of rural life where patience was required. Before daily mail delivery, communities had to travel to town to pick up their orders, sometimes waiting for weeks. Despite it all, Montgomery Ward and Sears succeeded by offering everything from clothing to furniture through mail-order catalogs. The satisfaction guaranteed or your money-back promise helped it to grow from a single page to hundreds, capturing the interest of rural buyers. But with the advent of rural free delivery, items could be delivered directly to your doorstep, saving time and boosting sales. This shift transformed the retail landscape, with Sears selling entire homes through their catalogs, allowing people to build their dream houses with kit supplies sent by mail. Manual typewriters. Manual typewriters were once the crown jewels of offices and writers' desks, but are now a nostalgic relic, a far cry from the sleek and silent technology that we use today. Before the age of autocorrect and backspace, the mechanical wonders demanded skill and patience. Every key struck an inked ribbon, leaving an impression on the page. And mistakes? Well, they were not easily erased. Correction fluid or a fresh sheet of paper would be your only options. There was no undo, no backspace, just a steady flow of thought and effort. Despite noisy and clunky sounds, typewriters were the reliable companions of writers, journalists, and secretaries, each keystroke adding a personal touch to the work. The experience they provided, feeling each letter form under your fingers, was something that modern keyboards just can't quite replicate. In a world that moves slower, typewriters were the heart of deliberate and focused work. Metal lunchboxes. Metal lunchboxes are a blast from the past and are making a comeback for collectors who remember their charm. They were not only for carrying sandwiches, they were a showcase of your favorite television show. From Star Wars to Brady Bunch, the Muppets, and Beverly Hills, these treasures are floating around priced anywhere from $30 to $50. While many have seen better days, the nostalgia factor is undeniable. Those thermoses that went along with them? Well, many people lose them, but the boxes themselves are still holding strong. Whether it's Pigs in Space or Mork and Mindy, each one tells a story from a more simple time when lunch was a moment to look forward to. The Ad Sullivan Show. The Ad Sullivan Show was a staple of mid-20th century television and ran on CBS from 1948 to 1971, capturing the attention of families across America. Hosted by Ed Sullivan, a New York entertainment columnist, the show became known for an eclectic mixture of music, comedy, and vaudeville style. A place where America first saw the Beatles in 1964, marking a pivotal moment of pop culture. It introduced countless artists, from Elvis Presley to Broadway stars, solidifying its status as must-see TV. With its varied format, it drew in millions each week, leaving a long-lasting impression on both television history and entertainment. An unforgettable experience for many, it's now a nostalgic piece of television history. Chalkboards in classrooms. The classroom blackboard was a staple for generations, revolutionizing education when first introduced. Before that, students used individual slates, pieces of slate or wood coated with paint and framed in wood, an inefficient method requiring teachers to visit each desk to write problems or assignments. It was not only time-consuming but also costly. The blackboard changed everything. With its simple, cost-effective design, it allowed teachers to present the lessons to the entire class at once, making learning more efficient. Even as technology advances, the enduring utility of the blackboard and its modern cousin, the whiteboard, remains undeniable, proving its place in education is far from obsolete. The original McDonald's menu. McDonald's original menu was simple yet groundbreaking. In 1948, it ditched its barbecue offerings for a streamlined selection of hamburgers, cheeseburgers, milk, coffee, soda, and a slice of pie, all at rock-bottom prices. The hamburger was just 15 cents. This shift to self-service and assembly line efficiency would revolutionize the food industry, ensuring consistency and speed in every order. While French fries weren't on the menu initially, the addition of them in 1949 helped McDonald's soar in popularity. In the 60s, innovation continued with the introduction of the Filet-O-Fish, born out of necessity for Catholic Lent. This simple and low-cost menu set the stage for McDonald's empire that we know today. Landline phones only. Back in the day, landline phones ruled the roost. Before the era of smartphones, families often had just one, stationed in the living room or kitchen, where calls were made and overheard by everybody. You couldn't move around with the phone, and privacy became a luxury. For more on-the-go communication, the iconic phone booths took center stage. These glass-enclosed boxes dotted the streets, offering a small slice of privacy for quick calls. From business deals to teenage gossip, they were an essential part of everyday life. Despite the growing number of landlines by the end of the century, the era eventually gave way to mobile freedom, leaving those stationary corded phones as a relic of time when calls were tethered to a single place. Riding in car trunks. Riding in car trunks may sound like a wild relic of the past, but for some it was a common childhood adventure. When seatbelts weren't standard, cars were built with roomy, cavernous trunks, and children sometimes took their seats in the back, enjoying a bumpy ride with a mixture of thrill and danger. It was one of those things that parents didn't think much about until safety rules caught up, and now it's unimaginable. Riding in the trunk is far from a carefree joyride these days. But for those who remember it, it was a different era of carefree road trips. And today, it's a reminder of how far we've come in car safety. Paper boys. Being a paper boy was once a rite of passage for many young men, especially in the 70s and 80s. It wasn't only about delivering the paper, it was the freedom that came with it. Early mornings riding down quiet streets on your bike, the sun barely peeking over the horizon, and every rolled-up paper had to land just right, hitting the doorstep with precision. In some neighborhoods, the reputation of the paper boy depended on how neatly the papers were thrown. It was more than just a job, it was a badge of honor. And with each route completed, the responsibility grew. Collecting payment every week, knocking on doors, and seeing the faces of your customers just became part of the rhythm. It may be a distant memory for many. The idea of being a paper boy, a small-town entrepreneur with a little corner of the world, was once the epitome of cool. Big hair and bell-bottoms. These were the ultimate style statements in the 1960s and 70s with a vibe that screamed freedom and rebellion. Big hair was about volume, height, and boldness, like oversized curls and towering updos that almost defied gravity. And it became a real declaration of individuality. Bell-bottoms took pants to the next level with their flared legs, creating a flowy and exaggerated silhouette that caught the breeze just right. Pairing them together was a look that defined an era, bold, carefree, and undeniably iconic. It wasn't just clothing, it was a way of life, symbolizing the culture of the youth's push for change, fun, and standing out from the crowd. Which of these baby boomer moments did you find most interesting? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed watching the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss a memory in the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.